Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we get a glimpse at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. My name is Breakaway Ray. I like talking about the breakaway civilizations because we're breaking out of the one we're in now. You've tuned into a live tarot throw. Today is October 5th, 2025. I've got 3 cards waiting for you. The tarot world has a message for you, no matter when you're tuning into this program. Either it's live or it's recorded later. This message has been waiting for you. Let's go to the tarot cam. One moment, please. There we go. All right, 3 cards for you today. Thanks a lot for joining me. Thanks a lot for tuning in to the show. And thanks a lot to the tarot world. They've been shooting off fireworks every time we get together and do a live tarot throw. It's really been great. It's been fun. It's been educational. And I know that you've built up a relationship with the tarot world coming from the cards I'm tossing over here. And there's like a message waiting for you. So let's get to it right away. 1, 2, 3. Dun, 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 dun. This is for entertainment purposes only. Let's have a good time. Well, we're off to an exciting start with the Devil card. The Devil card is mostly about letting go of things that no longer serve. For those of you who are new, the Devil card features 2 smaller beings there, and they have chains around their necks, but the chains are rather loose and they could just lift them off and be free. So it's really about letting go. But nevertheless, let's read what it says on the card. There's always little extra clues for us to learn from. The Devil card: shadow self, attachment, addiction, restriction, sexuality, temptation, seduction, destructive behavior, materialism, codependency, toxicity. You know, it always sounds so much fun to go out on a Saturday night, but then there's always Sunday morning. Anyway, maybe we got to let go of something as a group. This message is for all of us. Next up, it's, the King of Cups. The King of Cups: emotionally balanced, compassion, diplomatic, control, balance, supportive leader, tolerance, empathic. Yeah, you can't really be as smooth and as cool as the King of Cups if you got some baggage you got to let go of. And in our case, we're talking about spiritual baggage here at STARCARD Podcast, aren't we? And the last card in our message, and then the 7 of Swords shows up talking about something that is hidden. So we should let go of something so that we are more balanced, and then we'll be able to deal with whatever's hidden. And again, here at STARCARD Podcast, in that context, we're talking about hidden knowledge. But let's see what it says on 7 of Swords here. Betrayal, deception, getting away with something, acting strategically, and trickery. So I always like adopting the acting strategically concept when I look at this card. You know, plan ahead, but you don't have to tell everyone what you're doing. But at the same time, I kind of like the shadow self version of this, because this is what I'm complaining about whenever I put on a podcast. There's a bunch of hidden knowledge. It can make everyone's life much easier and much better, and it's being hidden from us. And so I'm getting on the internet and I'm blabbing about it. In any case, everybody, however these cards and that dynamic plays out for you, I know you're going to make it meaningful and you're going to make it magical to you. So thank you very much, Tarot World. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I see we got a lot of friends already jumping around in the chat. Hang on, let me give these cards a toss, and then I got some more to share. Yeah, cool. Great to see everybody. So anyway, if I do this correctly, next time there's a a problem with a recording. I mean, I got my device standing by where I'm going to do an audio recording, and I'll go back because I don't want to miss out on any more great tarot moments together. I can always repost it with an edited version. So anyway, I want to thank everyone for being patient. Thanks to all the subscribers. Thanks to all the viewers. I bet that there's a lot of you here who have seen more than one podcast. So you kind of like what's going on. So let me tell you what's going to go on. I'm going to talk today more about metempsychosis. And we're going to talk about the famous author, Anne Frank. Remember, she was writing a diary in Holland during World War II. Sadly, she passed away at age 15. But we'll be talking about that famous case of metempsychosis. Also, I've got a couple other things to share from my days in the classroom, and they're kind of fun. And so anyway, let's go back down to the tarot cam. And then, by the way, when I'm done with all that stuff, then we'll get to your audience readings. So if you want a reading, please type in the chat with all capital letters, tarot, please. And I'd be very happy to do your reading today and spend as much time as anyone would like to spend with me, right? Because I missed you guys yesterday. All right, so let's go back down to the table and get things sorted out. There we go. So, all right, I was practicing. I'm coming back up. I was practicing this line, and I didn't deliver it. So I'm going to give it a try right now. My name is Breakaway Ray, and I use tarot cards to talk to the ghosts of rock stars, elephants, and dead presidents. All right, I said that line wrong. Let me try that again. My name is Breakaway Ray, and I use tarot cards to talk to the ghosts of elephants, rock stars, and U.S. presidents. Okay, so let's go back down to tarot cam and let's go through a little pumpkin Side-Tober highlight reel. I got some ghostly pumpkins with some of our favorite episodes. I know that on September 25th, we met Charles Lindbergh through the tarot cards. And then on September 29th, we also met Kurt Cobain, the rock star from the band Nirvana. Okay, so then I believe that this Giordano Bruno episode from the TAROTPEDIA is still in my description. I invite you all to check out the description. A lot of extra details and links there. But this one got a lot of looks in a hurry. So I know that's a fun one. And then we also talked to Vice President Henry Wallace. Some of us didn't even know we had a vice president named Henry Wallace. And then how about we talked to Topsy the Elephant. And that was on September 19th. And then we also talked to Leni Riefenstahl, the filmmaker and propagandist. And we brought them in together. You know, I didn't make a pumpkin for Mahatma Gandhi and Bishop Desmond Tutu. I'm going to have to make one off camera. And then we also met President James Polk of the United States of America and a couple of U.S. presidents before him, James Monroe and John Quincy Adams. He had a nice press conference. Okay. And then, those are just some of the people that we've had fun talking about and meeting with the tarot cards. And then there were the lost episodes. Oh, Babe Ruth number 3, the lost episode from September 24th. Wow. I didn't verify my age. And so I wasn't recording after 2.5 minutes. So all that got recorded were sound effects. That was still a fun episode, even 2.5 minutes long. It was pretty awesome. And then, oh man, this just happened. Salvador Dali versus the Citizens United decision. Wow. So sad we'll never get those episodes back. But like I say, I got another device here. Let's not mess around. Let's get recording right now. Okay, I'm recording. All right. Now I still have more to share. Oh man, makes me want to shuffle these and throw some pumpkin cards around. Okay. So check this out. Look what I discovered in one of my files. And I literally discovered this. If I had known I had this, I would have done this with my class more often. I don't think I did it once. By the way, I'm trying to hold it as straight as I can. If someone wanted to do something funky, like, examine it more closely off camera, offline, or what have you. Anyway, what's really cool about it, obviously, is that it has that little cutout at the bottom where you color it and you cut it out, and you put it together, and it's a little house, and it's pretty adorable. And you know what else is adorable? While we're at it here at StarCard Podcast, you know, they're pretending like these are the only kinds of houses that were out there as we were, quote unquote, exploring the United States and North America. They're totally not saying, you know, there was all this massive infrastructure from a paradise that was before us. And I'm just, again, I'll just refer you very quickly to all the United States Capitol buildings. You know, just start there if you don't know what I'm talking about yet. But do go to the description. There's some links in there about old world buildings. So anyway, that's something I think I'm going to like color off camera and assemble just so you could see what it looks like. I want to see what it looks like. I'm sorry I can't make a kid do it right now. Right? My tongue was in my cheek when I made that remark. You know, because a lot of kids would love to do this. That's why I'm showing it to you. You know, you got little ones in your house. I bet they don't get to do this in their class. All right. Next. Yeah, check this out. Here's another one. This is it turns out to be a Halloween diorama. So again, I'm going to hold the paper steady as I can. And this is the background part. You know, the scenery, it looks like woods, and I'm going to color it in. I'm actually going to do some of the coloring in front of you, but not today. Okay, so, but then there's a second page to this. So get ready. Here comes the second page. Yeah. So this is so cool. Okay, so then, all right, I'm trying to hold it steady. Wait. So you can see there's some bats on the larger rectangle up there, and there's a witch on the skinnier rectangle down there, and there's some cool coloring that involves a science lesson. And then when you cut them out and you staple them together, and you got the little hole there, you can see the witch, and it's a three-dimensional image. Anyway, I think I'll be demonstrating how that works later on. Hey, everybody. I apologize for the connection. So I don't know if it's I don't even know if you're catching me now. I can't see if anyone's watching. Okay. I see someone's watching. All right, great. Hey, everybody. I'm really sorry about that. I don't know if it's the internet connection. I want to say I got a new mouse because my other one wasn't working. And it's got this gamers button on the side. And if I hit that by accident, I got a problem. So really sorry about that. I'm going to try not to mess up, but I am recording on another device. Okay. So now, yeah, it looks like someone's watching. It looks like I'm recording. So I'm going to go back down here to talk about metempsychosis. Well, I don't have to do that. Here we go. I'm going to actually read to you from the internet what it says about metempsychosis. And then we're going to talk about Anne Frank. And I want to point out that in the description today, there's a video with a woman who believed she was the reincarnation of Anne Frank. I don't know if you've heard that story before. I was surprised and delighted to find that story for lots of different reasons. But you know what? If you look into reincarnation stories, they abound. They're everywhere. There's a guy in Virginia, I think his name was Stevens or Stevenson, and he documented thousands of cases of reincarnated people. But all of this stuff where we pretend like reincarnation is not a thing, that's only recently, you know, that's ever since they decided to scrub magic from our common awareness. After all, we don't need to know about magic and we don't need to use our powers. Again, our job is just to be like wage slaves and worker drones, you know, let everyone else use all the magic. You guys just get in there and, you know, pay your taxes and get in traffic jams. So anyway, I want to read you now what it says on the internet about metempsychosis. Let me manipulate my windows a minute here. Okay, check this out. See, this is from the computer, but it also says it's from the Oxford Languages. I'm not sure if that's actually a book or a site, but it says the Oxford Languages, okay, metempsychosis, the supposed transmigration at death of the soul of a human being or animal into a new body of the same or a different species. Now, my favorite part of that definition is the second word, supposed or supposed, as if it's just made up and it's not a thing. It's automatically disqualified before the definition is given. How's that for mind control? Okay, great. But now I want to tell you about that person in the link who believed that she was the reincarnation of Anne Frank. Very quickly, just to recap a little history for you. So Anne Frank was a Jewish girl who lived with her family in Holland. And when the Germans rolled in during World War II, they were hidden by some friendly neighbors in a secret panel that led up to the attic in that building. And they were hiding for 2 years. And during those 2 years, Anne Frank kept a diary. The diary survived, but she did not. That was like an early exit. But it's quite possible that because of the early exit, she came back as this person. Let me see if I got her name here. Yeah, there it is. Barbro Karlen. Barbro Karlen, Karlen. Again, there's a link in the description today, but I'll go ahead and tell you about Barbro. Barbro Karlen was a Swedish writer, poet, and dressage writer. I'm going to repeat that the correct way. By the way, the word I just said was dressage, Dressage. I just learned about that, about 10 years ago when Mitt Romney was running for president. Dressage is very sophisticated horse sport, not exactly racing, but it's a particular kind of riding. I don't know enough about it to give you a definition, but nevertheless, let's go back to Barbro Karlen. Barbro was a Swedish writer, poet, and dressage rider who claimed to be the reincarnation of the German-born Jewish diarist and Holocaust victim, Anne Frank. Now, Barbro Karlen was born May 24th, 1954, and that would be in Örgryte, Sweden. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Orgryte in Sweden. And then she died October 12th, 2022. That was very recently. She was aged 68 at the time. So I invite you to check out Barbro Karlen's interview. I didn't actually see the interview that I posted, but it's raw Barbro Karlen. What I saw was a story about Barbro Karlen that included some excerpts from this interview. And what I remember about Barbro Karlen was that when she was very, very young, her parents would call her Barbro or whatever her name was, etc. And then she would correct her parents and say, "My name is Anne. And, you're not my parents, my family, yada, yada, in the Netherlands, and when you study reincarnation stories, you see that dynamic a lot. And then later on, it was very peculiar for her, because she knew about, her life as Anne, and, she knew all the things about Anne, and she tried to explain it to her family members from what I can remember. Nevertheless, one day at school, she was like in middle school, and her teacher was presenting Anne Frank's diary. And she totally got spooked, of course, and stopped the teacher and said, "Why are you talking about me in front of everybody like this?" And I think that's like living in a Twilight Zone episode, don't you think? So those are the things I wanted to share about Barbro Karlen and Anne Frank. And now we're going to go back down to the tarot cam and see if, the tarot world, listening to us talk about Barbro and Anne together, maybe there's a message that they would like to tell us about reincarnation, how common it is, because I want you to be able to do your homework, everybody. It's Cytober, and we have the internet, and I think it's time for us all to say, yeah, I can track down at least one of my lifetimes, a previous lifetime. We can look it up on the internet. Let's give it a try. Why not? Let me set up my windows again and get my meeting back in front of me here. Good. I got some people in the house. My internet connection's good. I'm not messing up. All right. All right. So on the subject of metempsychosis, and in honor of Anne Frank, who was born June 12th, 1929, and died at the age of 15 in 1945. Here we go. Yeah, I'm making metempsychosis a household word, right? It's a word that we're going to use at the dinner table. And, you know, it's going to be right up there with Secret Space Program and Tony Rodrigues and all the terms in consciousness that we have yet to learn together. Because I'm new at this too. That's right. Here we go. Let's shuffle some cards and see if we can get a message. You know, considering the story of Anne Frank and Barbro Karlen, maybe there's a lesson we can all learn, something we can all think about, something that can illuminate some knowledge that we can remember, because we are all immortal souls. What can we learn about metempsychosis from the story of Anne Frank and Barbro Karlen? What should we know about metempsychosis? Is it the real deal? All right, Tarot World. Way to go. No, I know we got 2 more cards to go here. We want to thank Anne and Barbro and the Tarot World for this. Yeah, all right, one more message. Here we go. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and staying with me. I'm sorry about our interrupted program, but let's keep it going now. First up, the 10 of Wands talks about a burden. It talks about a lot of work, extra responsibility, and completion. Could also talk about all your lives, everybody. If you're tuning in a STARCARD podcast, you probably already understand you have, you know, reincarnations here on Earth's surface before, probably lots of them. You were like the creme de la creme up in the spaceship when they said, which one of us gets to go down to Earth during this time and make it all happen? And they picked you, okay, based on your experience. This is your resume we're looking at. Okay, next up. Meanwhile, you come down to Earth, and like the 4 of Cups, you feel like there's something missing, but no, it's all there, but we're just not paying attention to it while we're down here looking at those 3 other cups, sleeping and eating and living. And the spirit world is still there, but we're not looking in that direction all the time, especially here in the Western Hemisphere. Next up, nevertheless, we're going to be like the Knight of Swords. We're going to be ambitious. We're going to be action-oriented. We're going to be driven to succeed. We're going to be fast thinking and defending beliefs. So, yeah, now is as good a time as any to charge forward and find out about our own reincarnated lives. You probably dream about them all the time. You know, go ahead and if you don't believe it, give it your best shot now, right? And at least disqualify it. If it works for you, great. And if it doesn't work for you, well, you eliminated that possibility and you moved on with your own thinking. That's fine. But you might as well give it a shot. If these are new thoughts to you, pose that question to your mind. I'd like to learn more about one of my previous lives, please, because I hear that there's ways that my other lives and me, we can all help each other out. We can share energy in a positive way with each other across time and space. And yeah, the Page of Cups says you might be pleasantly surprised. That's right. And then the 4 of Pentacles says you're going to find a lot of value in that activity, tracking down a previous life, for example, or a future life, if you really want to go there. Okay. And then the 10 of Swords says it's the end of a painful episode. This could represent the end of life after life after life, but it also could represent the end of a painful episode of ignorance where we don't know about those things, because most people off-world have expanded consciousness and they can actually intermingle among their different facets within their broad consciousness. Chances are you have a concurrent life right now. Who's to say you don't? Where do you think you go at night when you dream? All right, closing up our thoughts while we were thinking about Anne Frank and talking about metempsychosis. So the King of Wands talks about overcoming obstacles and also says it's the big picture. The Knight of Wands, again, encourages us to move forward in an intuitive way, but filled with power and energy. Let's see what it says here. Adventure, fearless, impulsiveness, passionate, energy. That's how you're going to find your other lives, you know, your other personas going on right there, your alters, if you will. Okay. The big picture is you have to follow the emotion, and you have to be impulsive. Just let your thoughts wander. Don't think too hard about it. Pose the question, walk away. It'll come to you another day. And the Sun card says everything's going to be okay. Okay, I'll take that. That's a good show. On to the audience readings. Thank you very much, Tarot World. You really know how to walk off stage. That was pretty awesome. Hey, everybody. So I'm going to read the chat after the show, but I'm going to go through right now with a piece of paper and write down the names of the people who want a reading. If you hit the top fans button, I'm going to presume you want a reading. You can always correct me because, again, I'll read the chat after the show, but now that I'm in the mid part, I do keep my eyeball on the bottom and I see if there's any new messages. So I think I got to give these cards a toss real quick, and then we'll make a list. And then we'll move on from there. So I see that Nancy P is here. Hi, Nancy P. Thanks again for joining me. Let me write this down. Hi, Flix Love. Thanks a lot for joining me again. I appreciate it. See, hi, Maria Madrigal. I see you're here, and you're number 2. So I'm going to write you down. See, there's Namira. I see you, Namira. You typed in all caps too. That was easy for me to see. I'm going to write you down. Hi, Namira. Thanks a lot. Let's see. I'm going to scroll up now so I can see. Oh, there's number 1. Hey, Spiderbite, you made it. Cool. I got you down here, Spiderbite. All right, now I'm going to scroll up and see if anyone else sent a Tarot Please message. Still there? Okay. Tarot Please, Maria Madrigal. Flix Love. Gotcha, Flix Love. Spiderbite. Right, got it. There's Mr. A. Hi, Mr. A. Good to see you. All right. So I've got these 5 names: Spiderbite, Maria Madrigal, Nancy P, Namira, and Flix Love. And if there's anyone else, hi, Namira. If there's anyone else who wants a reading, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm sure I'll catch it before I close up shop. All right, but that's all exciting. I thank you so much for inviting me to read. You know I like to practice. Here I go. So first up, it's Spiderbite. Hey, Tarot World, what a fun message. Thank you very much. So everyone knows the assignment. By the time Halloween rolls around, we're all going to have at least 1 previous life to share in the chat. That gives us a good 3 weeks. Anyway, these cards are for Spiderbite. All right, Spiderbite, we're going to find a fun, helpful message for Spiderbite. Could we please have a fun, helpful message for Spiderbite? Thank you. Here we go. Right on, Spiderbite. First up, yay, it's the Magician. You're making magic. This card is about action, creation, manifestation, power, self-confidence, clarity, willpower, skill, and creativity. Yeah, the more you imagine, the more powerful you become. And then the 7 of Pentacles says that the harder you work at it, the bigger the flowers you're going to grow. That's a very healthy plant. The 7 of Pentacles reads, long-term view, hard work, perseverance, diligence, sustainable results, and investment. Yeah, you invest energy when you make magic, and it comes out the other side looking great like that. Next up, boy, you really are making magic. Check that out. The Ace of Wands just showed up. Way to go, Spider Bite. Ace of Wands, new project, inspiration, urge to create, willpower, desire, power, potential beginnings, new opportunities, and growth. Interesting. You know, I was talking about the growth on the plants here, but then while I was reading the words on the Ace of Wands card, I couldn't help looking at the little trees in the corner. I mean, on the other side here. I don't know, do trees or plants have something to do with this? Growing a new garden? The Seven of Wands talks about a challenge that you can manage. You know, you have the higher ground. Seven of Wands, challenge, competition, protection, perseverance, defense, and maintaining control. All right. It's the Four of Wands. It's the homecoming card. Wow. I mean, I'm sure this is not the case, Spider Bite, but it's almost like you're renovating your backyard so that you can host a wedding. Sounds like it's very beautiful, whatever you're doing, the magic you're creating back there. Then you have the Four of Pentacles, talks about pinching pennies, saving money, security, conservation, control, and frugality. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It can still be simple and beautiful. And then the Queen of Swords says, you're right. You know, all those choices that you made when you set up the backyard for everybody, every call you made was correct. All your plans were 100%, you know, okay, perfect. Anyway, it's going to create a lovely day. According to that dynamic in that story that I just made up, the Queen of Swords says unbiased judgment, independent, clear boundaries, direct communication, clear-minded and perceptive. Thanks a lot, Spider Mite, for inviting me to read. Those are fun cards to have. Start your week. That's right, Maria Magical. Wow. Hey, Namira, I appreciate your comment about my photography. Makes me... All right, so before I do the next one, I've been waiting like 2 months to say this, but Namira prompted me. So for years, I used to I still do it, go out on my bike rides, go out on my hikes, take pictures of the beautiful area where I live. And I'm all, they're only on my computer. And now I was thinking this morning how fortunate I am. Like when I'm scrolling on my TV and I'm looking at my channel, STARCARD Podcast, I get to see all those photos nice and big, whenever I want. But I'm so glad I can share them with everybody. So thank you very much, Amira. I appreciate you commenting and pointing that out. Again, I'm really happy about those photos because I get to share them again. Anyway, let's go back down here. Yeah, I'm all excited about that. All right, who's next? That would be Maria Magical. All right, so while we're on Maria Magical, there we go. Thank you, ladies. Maria Magical, having a fun, helpful message to you. I'm sorry, I guess I might have missed you on our last show, but here we go, Maria Magical. So wonderful. I'm so happy to throw some tarot cards for you. These cards are for Maria Magical. Yeah, and thank you, Tarot World, for making me look good and telling fun, helpful stories here. These cards are for Maria Magical. Yeah, the King of Wands card is back. He's the big picture guy. He talks about overcoming obstacles. He's a natural leader. He's an entrepreneur. That sounds right. He's mature and career focused. The entrepreneur. Checking the stock ticker. I know I shuffled the cards, but here's the Knight of Wands again. Energy, passionate, inspired action, adventure, fearless, impulsiveness, knows when to pull the trigger. Then the Ace of Cups says ka-ching. Well, Ace of Pentacles would say ka-ching, but the Ace of Cups, look at that. Your cup is overflowing. Bank pays you dividend of $50. Let's see what it says here. Love, compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, new baby, proposal, marriage. Well, this is other kinds of value, still very charged. Nice. And then, hey, more wands. And the Page of Wands talks about limitless potential. I think you like this card, Maria Madrigal. I think you've had this one before. The Page of Wands, inspiration, ideas, discovery, limitless potential, free spirit, exploration, excitement, and freedom. You're filled with action, dynamic. All right, next. The Two of Pentacles indicates that you have multiple priorities, or that there are multiple priorities. The Wheel of Fortune talks about luck. Luck is good, luck is bad. It talks about fate, talks about destiny. It talks about cycles of life. Let me see if I got that right. Karma, life cycles, a turning point, ups and downs, multiple priorities, ups and downs. And then, well, it closes with the Nine of Swords, but you know what? We could turn the Nine of Swords upside down. Here's what it says about the Nine of Swords: anxiety, worry, fear, depression, nightmares, insomnia, hopelessness, trauma, and despair. Not what I know about Maria Madrigal, but let's turn this upside down. Releasing worry, hope, and reaching out. Well, Maria Madrigal, I hope that a lot of this meant something. Maybe it was fun and entertaining anyway. Thanks very much for inviting me to read and for always being in the chat. I really appreciate your subscription to STARCARD Podcast. Next up, it's Nancy P. Well, I get the impression that you people are having a good time in the chat. Anyway, yeah, you're welcome. Let's have another nice, helpful, fun message, please, for Nancy P. Thanks, Tarot World. I'm sure the Tarot World's been waiting like a long time to be able to talk to everybody again. That's why the Tarot World wakes me up early in the morning. Anyway, here we go. This is a fun, helpful message for Nancy P. Because we love to help, and it's fun. A fun, helpful message for Nancy P, please. Thank you. All right. A fun, helpful message for Nancy P. Great. These cards are for Nancy P. Thank you. Here we go, Nancy P. All right. Well, the Five of Wands talks about conflict and competition and rivalry and disagreements and tension. But if we go up to the fourth dimension and turn the card upside down, it says avoiding conflict, respecting differences, agreeing to disagree, diversity. Then the Knight of Pentacles shows up and talks about hard work, productivity, routine, conservation, efficiency, and responsibility. Yeah, knowing the boundaries, respecting differences, that can make work more efficient. At least you know where not to go. Then the Three of Wands, because, you're the kind of person who likes to plan things out. Here's the Three of Wands that says luck is where preparation meets opportunity. So we can't let like the small things, the small challenges and interactions get us down or slow us down. We got a big picture that we're aiming for here. This is small potatoes. The big work is still in motion here. Anyway, this is kind of like the flavor almost. It's kind of like that flavor that you put on your roast to give it that little extra kick. It's the roast that's the prize. So the Three of Wands reads preparation, progress, foresight, enterprise, expansion, and overseas opportunities. And then finally, you'll be standing like the Page of Wands with limitless perspective and limitless potential. Nice. I like your long-term view on everything. I'm surprised the Seven of Pentacles didn't show up also. Inspiration, ideas, discovery, limitless potential, free spirit, exploration, excitement, freedom. Yeah, nice. You really had your eye on the prize. You got all your ducks lined up in a row. Next up, it's the Two of Swords. All right, now that you've accomplished that, you're at the crossroads. The Two of Swords says difficult decisions, weighing options. It also says avoidance and deadlock. It looks like maybe you get to make a decision, but the Two of Swords lady is blindfolded, which indicates she doesn't have all the information yet. But once she has the information, she'll be just fine because she's got all the tools she needs in her hands. So yeah, you're at your crossroads, but you're well prepared. It was part of your path. You know what you're doing. And then the death card shows up and talks about endings and beginnings and transformation and change and metamorphosis, an end of a cycle. Wow, this is getting dramatic. And then at the end, we have the Two of Pentacles, which talks about multiple priorities, adaptability, time management, and balancing decisions. So this talks about a crossroads. This talks about two different things, and so does this. Your decision, you pick one, and then you're still going to be juggling something. I don't know how that works, but anyway, I hope it was entertaining and fun. I thank you so much for inviting me to read, Nancy P. Hope you have a good day. Okay, yeah, we're still on. Okay, next up, it's Namira in the Netherlands. Oh, Puck Elf's here. Hi, Puck Elf. Thanks a lot for dropping in, Puck Elf. Appreciate it so much. All right, and these cards are for Namira. Tarot World, thanks for all the fun, helpful messages. Thanks for helping me get through the program. I know it's tough with that internet, and I'm trying to stay organized. These cards are for Namira, please. Can we have a fun, helpful message for Namira? All right. Thank you very much. A fun, helpful message for Namira, please. These cards are for Namira. Thank you, Namira in the Netherlands. Here we go. First up, how wonderful. It's the Justice card. It talks about cause and effect. It talks about fairness, clarity, truth, equality, balance, and law. Equality and balance. And then the Three of Pentacles talks about teamwork and collaboration and learning and building something and implementing something. Balance and cause and effect and teamwork. Great. You know, yeah, if everyone gets what they need on the team, you're going to build something great. Well, the Three of Swords indicates that there's some kind of heartache involved. What's happening over here? Oh, but out of that, thank goodness the Magician shows up. So because of cause and effect, you know, there's a team situation. There's going to be some kind of pain or heartache or loss, but some magic is going to be created out of it. So I don't know if this is the right crowd to talk about this, but also I don't even know if there's many, there's not even a lot of sports fans in the 21st century who know this story. It's the story about how Lou Gehrig got his job at first base. There was a Yankee baseball player named Wally Pipp. Wally Pipp got injured, and so Lou Gehrig had to sub in. And then Wally Pipp never got his job back because Lou Gehrig became the Iron Horse. He never missed a game for like 2,100 games. So anyway, I forget why I was mentioning that story. It was related somehow. Because of the Magician. So poor Wally Pipp, you know, he stubbed his toe or whatever. I don't know what happened to the poor guy. But anyway, some magic was created for the New York Yankees when they brought in Lou Gehrig. You never know what new magic is going to be brought in. Anyway, because there's always got to be balance, right? The Justice card says there's got to be balance. We're working it all out with the spirit world together. So if there's going to be a little heartache, there's going to be a little karmic balance coming at you. Hey, I like that one much better. Let's go to the Eight of Cups, which talks about walking away from things that don't serve us anymore. And then, yeah, the Chariot card says keep moving, walk away quick, keep going. because, yay, the Page of Cups says there's a happy surprise on the way. All right, there's not just a light at the end of the tunnel. There's probably like a shining pot of gold or something. Way to go, Namira. Yeah, it does sound good. Way to go. Thank you. Let me give these cards a toss. And it looks like Puck Elf. Hey, Puck Elf, I see you hit the top fans button. I'm very happy to give you a reading if you want one. If you hit the top fans button, that's what I'm thinking. So, yeah, you're welcome, Namira. Anyway, before I throw any cards, Puck Elf, I'll look in the corner. But right now, it's Flix Love. Finally. I don't know if Flix Love is still there, but I'm sure she's going to listen later. Let's throw some cards for Flix Love, please. Thank you, Tarot World, for all the help reading the cards. Appreciate it so much. Those are some fun cards. Very dramatic. Great stories to tell. And now, how about a message for our friend Flix Love? She was friends well before STARCARD podcast, when I was just showing up on the holidays over at Typical Skeptic podcast. Hi, Rob. Anyway, here we go. These cards are for Flix Love. A fun, helpful message for Flix Love, please. Thanks, Flix Love. And thank you, Tarot World. Fun, helpful message for Flix Love. These cards are for Flix Love. Okay. These cards are for Flix Love. Thank you. They really meant something with these cards up here. Am I still? Uh-oh. Is there anyone still in the house? Am I still recording? I'm going to give it a quick refresh. Stand by, everybody. Hey everybody, I'm not sure if we were on or not. This time I reloaded anyway because I didn't see anybody watching. So I can't tell if anyone's I can't tell if the broadcast is going out. But anyway, I am on the device, so if I have to, I will edit and put it together. Okay, hey Flix Love, these cards are for you. And hey Puck Help, I hope you feel better. It looks like anyway, I'm not sure you wanted a reading. Nevertheless, I'm going to wish you a speedy recovery, Puck Elf. Meanwhile, let's just take care of Flix Love, and then we'll let the internet do its thing. Here you go, Flix Love. So sorry about all the connection problems. It's the Tower card. Talks about sudden breakthroughs. It talks about insight, upheaval, chaos, revelation, awakening. Here is the Eight of Pentacles, which talks about repetitive tasks. It talks about diligence, high standards, passion, mastery, and skill development. Here is the Justice card again. Wow, look at that. It talks about cause and effect. It talks about law. It talks about balance. And then here's the Queen of Wands. This card kind of sounds like you because the Queen of Wands is about having a zest for life, courage, confident, independence, focused, zest for life, determination, and joy. Oh, dude. There's the Nine of Swords, which talks about sleepless nights and anxiety and things. But you know I like to turn this card upside down. And upside down it says, releasing worry, hope, and reaching out. And the Eight of Wands talks about travel and flight. It also talks about something happening soon. Wow, these are some pretty heavy cards, Flix Love. And then the Eight of Swords talks about, well, here's what it talks about. negative thoughts, self-imposed restriction, imprisonment, victim mentality, and entrapment. But I like to turn it upside down and read it as releasing negative thoughts, opening to new perspectives, self-acceptance, and freedom. And I also like to use the expression as much as you can imagine. So, release worry and reach out as soon as you can and as much as you can imagine. That sounds like a message for someone who needs to give a friend a call. Call a friend. Anyway, Flicks Love, I hope that was helpful. Hey, it's Ascending Universal Butterfly. Hi, Ascending Universal Butterfly. So I had some problems Ascending Universal Butterfly with my connection this morning, and I'm not sure there's anyone else with us right now. But you caught me right at the end. I'm going to close up shop just because of the internet connections. I'm going to have to try harder tomorrow to have a smoother connection. But I do appreciate you checking in. I appreciate all of you who clicked on the link and decided to view what you could of our presentation today. I want you all to have a good day. And thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All right.